In this video, you will be able to distinguish between genotype and phenotype, heterozygous and homozygous, and dominant and recessive. The first terminology practice will be genotype and phenotype. A genotype is an organism's genetic makeup or allele combination. An easy way to remember genotype is to think of the letter G for genes. A phenotype is an organism's physical appearance or physical traits or characteristics. An easy way to remember phenotype is to think of the letters PH for physical appearance. Now let's practice. See if you can answer the following questions. The mouse's fur is brown. Is the brown fur a phenotype or a genotype? Phenotype. Does capital B, lowercase b, represent a phenotype or genotype? Genotype. Is the characteristic of your chin a phenotype or genotype? Phenotype. Is the fur color of the kittens an example of a phenotype or genotype? Phenotype. Do the different allele combinations represent a phenotype or genotype? Genotype. Do these allele combinations represent a phenotype or genotype? Genotype. Does the color of the moths represent a phenotype or genotype? Phenotype. The second terminology practice will be dominant and recessive. The dominant allele, whose trait always appears in the organism when the allele is present and is represented with a capital letter. Hint, this is the strong allele. The recessive allele, whose trait is hidden whenever the dominant allele is present and is represented with a lowercase letter. Hint, this is the weaker allele. Is the circled allele an example of a dominant or recessive allele? Dominant. Is the circled allele an example of a dominant or recessive allele? Recessive. For this genotype, will the phenotype appear to be dominant or recessive? Recessive. For this genotype, will the phenotype appear to be dominant or recessive? Dominant. For this genotype, will the phenotype appear to be dominant or recessive? Dominant. Anytime there is a dominant allele present, the dominant phenotype will appear in the organism. This means you will be able to see the dominant trait or characteristic. Anytime there are two recessive alleles present, the recessive phenotype will appear in the organism. This means you will be able to see the recessive trait or characteristic. The third terminology practice will be homozygous and heterozygous. There are two ways to describe the genotype combinations based on the letters you see. The first set of examples shows a homozygous combination. Homozygous means having two identical alleles for a particular gene. A pairing of two capital letters or a pairing of two lowercase letters is homozygous. Two capital letters is homozygous dominant. Two lowercase letters is homozygous recessive. This example shows a heterozygous combination. Heterozygous means having two different alleles for a particular gene. A pairing of a capital letter and a lowercase letter is heterozygous. Does this genotype represent homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, or heterozygous? Homozygous dominant. Does this genotype represent homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, or heterozygous? Heterozygous. Does this genotype represent homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, or heterozygous? Homozygous recessive. Video recap. In this video, we learned the difference between genotype and phenotype, heterozygous and homozygous, and dominant and recessive. Consider these helpful study tips. Genotype. Think about the spelling. Phenotype. There is a PH in the beginning of physical and phenotype. Think about the meaning of these words. Dominant is a strong allele. Recessive is a weak allele. Think about the meanings of the prefixes. Homo means same. Hetero means different.